Wow. Okay. I'm sorry about the squeaky sounds in the background. Once again, my chair is broken, so obviously it's gonna be freaking squeaky. I hope you all had a fantastic day, cause it's Sunday and it's 10 o'clock for me, so it is pretty early, but yeah. Okay, so might as well just discuss a lot of content. Just discuss a lot of stuff. You know, why not? Why not discuss a lot of stuff today? So, I found out my perfect ebook maker. I think it's amazing that I can actually have an ebook maker, a proper one that isn't really costly. I mean, yes, if you want to upgrade, it does charge you, but the upgrades are mostly for like team uses rather than anything else. So I really respect the fact that this website that I'm using for my ebooks is just so amazing. Now, what I'm going to do is across every part of my ebook, there's going to be a header. I can't even say it properly. A header, and it's going to be lightly colored because I think that's a really cool art choice. Um, and or make can put like a little pattern per each specific chapter. Like maybe every chapter you'll have a specific symbol, and on the right hand corner you'll have like a little symbol so you can skim towards certain parts of the chapters. I hope that makes sense, you know? Plus, I have to make a table of contents. That will have to come in the last part. You know why? Because let's be real for a moment. Um, I don't know. I don't necessarily know how the pages will fit. Sometimes it might be different. I might even have a different font altogether that shifts everything. Sometimes images might take up more space. Sometimes I might have a full chapter page for introducing the chapter. So it might be very, very different. But I'm at least trying to make sure that there is a contents, and it has to be perfect. I have to check it out first and then see if everything is perfect. I have to read everything, proofread with my final versions, and then that's it. Images, I feel like I have to draw them on paper and scan them up. I know it's not the best thing to do. Will I color the images? Maybe, maybe not. The cover will have to be colored, obviously. But when it comes to coloring, I have to color it uh, on my notebook because it's the only way to color stuff. I've shown an image from my previous book, which I never released because I stopped working with it halfway because like I needed a bit more content for that book. And even though I said that book will have multiple stories, I kept changing my mind. And then I realized maybe it can stand on its own, but I need to give it more time. I need to actually prepare it properly and not just write like a loser, write like a proper person. So my English has actually improved over the past few years. Last year, I actually started writing a couple of. Well, I was always writing stuff. Last year, I actually started to write a book. It was going to be a vampire book. It was the introduction to vampires in my world. Basically, on Earth, how vampires arrive or how vampires like start terrorizing humans. That's what the story all about. It's supposed to be a pretty interesting series, like three books possibly. Um, yeah. However, I don't know if people will like that, but I still want to write that. I still have all the notes of that book. I just have to rework with that, and that's going to be pretty much it. I need to fix a lot of parts, but I feel like I was very descriptive with that, and obviously that's when I started using Thesaurus. Am I even pronouncing it right? That's when I started using this website because last year I was starting to write stuff and I needed more words. I needed proper synonyms and I needed a lot more interesting words. This actually teaches you a lot more words. You find out so much of words. Look at this word. I've never heard about this word before until recently, So if you never went to school or never finished school, or even if you have finished school, it does improve on your language a lot. That's the most important part. I really wish that I actually listened to. Oh no, sorry. I really wish I listened to myself or I listened to a lot of teachers back in the day because they would always say, hey, read, and you think to yourself, reading won't improve your language or whatever. I don't want to read boring books. And don't get me wrong, there are some really annoying people out there who write books. A lot of woke people who write books, but you don't have to read those books. The market is the market. It's freaking flooded with content. And if you don't like that, then you can make your own stuff. You know, this is why I feel like reading is important. And I'm only realizing that now in my 20s. It's not fair. I wish I realized that long ago. I realized writing was fun, but reading is on a whole another level of excitement. It unearths so much of interesting stories to tell. I've always loved telling stories. It's just that reading throughout my life, I was a good reader. I'm not joking. When I was a kid, especially in grade two, the teacher would put us in multiple groups, varying from multiple reading levels. I upgraded to the top level within moments. Okay, I was pretty good at reading. Nonetheless, of whatever how I started out, just remember that I went to the top. Okay, but then as time progressed, you really lose interest. And I feel like a lot of things make you lose interest. The first thing that makes you lose interest is obviously the fact that you have so much of subjects. Don't get me wrong, I think it's important to learn many things, but in high school, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to waste my time learning a lot of stuff that never felt perfect. In arts and culture, I forgot what they call it in grade 8 and 9, but they call it something about art. Barely artwork, you're learning definitions only. That's kind of cool, but I want to learn that separately in a different time, not that specifically. You know what I mean? In arts, it was very different. Arts was very different. It was so different. You expect to be painting, drawing, doing all these fancy schmancy content. No, you're not going to be doing a lot of that. You have to actually just learn definitions. It may seem easy at first, but honestly, you have to learn them for the test papers. I had no idea what I was doing. It wasn't as so fun as you may think it is. That's the worst part about that. And the worst part about high school, let me explain the worst part of high school. I need a piece of paper to show you this. I need a pencil as well so I can erase the nonsense later. Okay, I have this torn piece of paper. You won't be able to see it, so I guess I have to use a pen. Yes, this is a pen. What do you call it? An ink cartridge from a pen. Yes, I know I break my pens, and sometimes it's worth fidgeting, or not really worth fidgeting over, but sometimes it is. So, okay, you have now every time, now every class from grade 10 will have to choose their subjects. Now, this is just an example. This is just an example, but there will be a table like this, basically. Let's just say a table. And within this table, you get a plethora of subjects within each period or something like that. Let's say this is the third period. We used to have 6 periods in school. I can't remember how it was laid out. I think it was three. No, no, two. I apologize for the background noise. Uh, I think it was 2 periods break at the first break, and then we had three after, and then we had like I don't even know now. I can't remember. I can't recall. No, no. I think it was 4 periods after break, and then 1 period, um, 1 period after second break. It's so confusing. Regardless, there were 6 periods. So let's just say, no, no. Actually, I'm mixing up things. No, no, no. I'm miscalculating. I recall there was like specifically 1 period, or maybe there were. No, 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 no. I'm completely getting things mixed up. I'm sorry. It's been years since I've been in school. Okay, my last year was 2017, so it's so long. Okay, that was grade 9. Okay, I never finished school. Okay, like I dropped out. I'm a dropout. Okay, um, um. So let me explain more about this stuff. Because once you go, from grade 10 to 12, you have to choose certain subjects. Now, this makes things a bit easier, but at the same time, you need to realize that you won't be able to get the subject you want if there's not much of a class for it. if there's like only like one or two people choosing one subject, you won't be able to choose it. You have to choose what everyone else is doing or the other most popular options. Sorry, that doesn't make sense. I don't like that one, but it's just not fair, really. So if I was the only one who wanted arts and culture, everyone else, let's just say, for example, if I wanted that, obviously I felt like it was so stupid, but if I wanted that, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? It would have been really difficult because many people would not have chosen that. Um, just thinking of school right now brings up some bad memories because the subject thing is the worst part. They could have made us choose subjects from grade 8 at least, because then that actually separates a lot more because because it's much more better, I assume, if you choose subjects like that from grade 8. Maybe that's just me, but still, I really wish there were classes, even if there were one or two people choosing that per subject. That I wish there were classes for that. I don't understand why it had to be like, oh, since everyone chose this, you have to go with this now, and you can't get your class. It was not fair. So, okay, let me use the table. I'm sorry if you see this does not want to focus. Okay, and I'm sorry for the squeaky noise. Okay, it's my freaking chair. Okay, so let's just say someone wanted, I forgot the subject. It was IT, it was computer science, and someone wanted, uh, okay, I can't remember the table was, in fact, but I'm just going to assume it was something like this, arts, and let's just say some nonsense stuff. I don't know, like, bio or physics. You gotta choose which you gotta choose. You gotta choose one in each, and um, let's just say majority of people chose bio and IT, and very little people chose this, and barely anyone chose this. Guess what? Guess what? You won't get a class for this. You will get a class for this, and if you wanted this, you gotta choose between these three, and it's not that good. It's not. How can that make sense? There's no choice in that. That the illusion of choice falls very easily because it's not choice. Because if you don't get a class, you have to go somewhere else. It's not freaking fair, I tell you. So I'm kind of glad I jumped ship before I even got to choose subjects. That doesn't make any freaking sense in the slightest. In grade 9, I never went to any of the my parents never went to any of the meetings because I stayed at home a lot. I got sick a lot. I had no idea when there were meetings or whatever, and I had no forms whatsoever. It was freaking crazy how I was like out of the blue compared to everyone else. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just that, when you snooze, you lose, basically stuff like that. But the subject stuff is so ridiculous. This is why I don't like that. I rather just be on my own because I know what I'm doing. I can make that choice for myself. I don't have to force myself to learn bio or whatever. Basically bio is like biology nonsense crap. Yeah. Physics was more like sciencey stuff, and I don't like that. Okay, if imagine being forced to choose one of those stupid stuff. That's stupid. Now, I don't know how the actual subjects were split, but I'm sure it was terrible, and I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten the classes I want. I'd be forced to choose some stupid stuff. Ugh, stupid indeed. Stupid indeed. Sorry about that. I feel like I'm ranting too much now about the past. I'm just saying it was stupid. I'm kind of surprised how crazy people, how crazy, how crazy it is for people to go through this type of stuff, because I couldn't even make it. So I wonder how many people finish school and stuff like that, especially the way school being like this. Not only that, but some of the students were very annoying. I'm not gonna dive through that kind of worms. I feel like that's a separate topic. That's actually a separate topic, you know, because we don't have to talk about that. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about school and I ranted a lot. I'm terribly sorry, but what else do you want me to do? You wanna, you want me to do all nonsense? No, I'm just so annoyed, to be fair. Now, where will I be selling my books? I forgot about this. I've also found multiple newer sites, but I feel like sticking with Equid right now will be perfect because I already signed in. I already got most of my stuff. Like I'm not gonna ditch it, but maybe in the future things might change. Let's just see how things work. So as I was saying about the book, um, the contents page will be made separately. After I figure out which page is which, I'll make it. Then I'll print a copy out, not physically, but digitally for myself, and then I'll use that same copy if it's good to post it on Ecwid, and then it'll be sold. Now, how do you read these? How do you read these ebooks? You can read them on a PDF file, PDF reader. So if you don't have one, there's a lot of free ones out there. There's a lot of interesting ones out there. So I do recommend, if you don't have one, get one. I'm sure most of your phones have one already downloaded, so you can just use that to read the books. But what I recommend for your laptops, I don't think I have one myself, so I have to download a free one. Uh, so I recommend doing that because with PDF readers, you can zoom in a bit more and see much more clear images. Rather than zooming in on an image, it's much more better. It feels more neat and documented. Okay. It's a pretty bright day today. The cerulean sky is surely out, and clouds, barely misty clouds, hover below it. Um, or is it on top of it? No, it's it's technically below, right? Uh, you will get a lot of strange words from me on my books. You will hear a lot of crazy things on my books, like the clouds hover underneath the cerulean. Yeah, that's one of my statements in my books. You know. Um, so when it comes to my book, what else can I say besides, um, I guess, besides the most important thing I can say is that, as I said, there will be changes in some parts of my book because I don't want it to sound something so epic. There were certain moments in the book where it felt like it will draw attention too much from the main story, so I have to like take it out. I have to literally take it out. You know, um, because I don't want the book to turn into something much dangerous or much bigger, because it's trying to tell one story, not trying to tell or not trying to set things up for other stories. Maybe it might, but it's trying to tell something and keep its focus. You know, I don't want other people's focus to be easily taken over. All right, then I think that's it. I'm going to bath now because it's pretty late and well, I did eat, so okay. I'll wait a couple more minutes and then I'll go. Uh, what else can I say to be fair? You know, I hope the book sells well. Maybe like I'm thinking of like $10 a book, $7. If I manage to sell something else as well, like a second book, not necessarily like a sequel to this book, but more or less a separate story altogether, I think that would be perfect. You know, then I can actually focus on making more money. Because that's the best way to have two options. And when it comes to two options, um, I'm obviously going to give options for the cover as well, even though it's digital. I want to give these options so people can actually have the options. Now, will I jump ship from Equid? Maybe, maybe not. I might find a possible, much more freer alternative. I really wish I could actually have my own website and like sell stuff upon it, but then you need like a lot of other programs and it's not the best right now. I feel like it's best if I have like another separate website selling the stuff. When it comes to Shopify, it's freaking difficult to do that, to use that. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.